Hello and welcome to the Daring the Show. My name is Steve George. I'm your host today, and I have in the studio Amira. Hi, Amira. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So, Amira, I'm going to ask you to quickly introduce yourself to the audience. But before you do your introduction, I must say that you are a very, very bold lady, like very bold, very courageous. And I do love that about you. So, thank you so much for even honoring this invitation because I know that my audience has a lot to learn from you. So, go on ahead. Who is Amira?
Thank you. So I am Amira. I am a 17-year-old mindfulness coach for kids and teenagers. Aside from all the universe hippie stuff, I'm a very voracious reader. I'm an extrovert and I absolutely love spending time in nature. So anytime you see me, you'll always find me at the park next to a tree, putting
Oh,
my
wow.
feet in grass. So yeah, that's pretty much who I am.
Wow, that you sound so interesting. Like I want to live your life right now. You appreciate nature. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I love that. Thank you so so much. So Amira, what we you know what we're talking about today. Let me quickly ask you, why are you making this awareness? What are we talking about and why are you creating this awareness? Why is it so
So
important to you?
thank you for your question. The reason this is very, very important to me is because when I found out that I had misophonia 2 years ago, it wasn't really out to the public because, the first thing you do about something is you search it up on the internet. And then when you can't find what you want, you don't really know what to do beyond that. And 2 years ago, honestly, I did not have any form of sustenance with it. I was completely alone in this. I did not know who had it, who was diagnosed with it. And the fact that, I am a living, breathing representation of, misophonia means that because I have a voice, I can use it to the best of my ability. And if my raising awareness about it is going to help somebody else who has misophonia and is very, very scared to come out and share it with the public, then, that is my mission. Because, we all struggle with something. And it's very, very difficult to come out and say that, what, I'm struggling, I need help. But when you've created that safe space, when you've created that safe haven to say that, what, you're safe here, you can come and tell us that this is what you're struggling with. There won't be any judgment. We're going to try and assist you. We're going to try and help you better cope with it so that you can live your life to the best of your ability.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. So straight ahead, I'm going to ask you, what is misophonia?
All right, so misophonia is actually a brain based condition, and it's just gotten out to the public. And it has very, very intense negative reactions to sounds. So I believe it actually starts in the amygdala, which is a part in the brain that is, and that's where it starts.
Oh wow, you were going for some minutes. There's some seconds there. You froze for some seconds. So can you take that again? What is
Yes, sure.
misophonia? Yes, sorry
Sorry.
about that.
No, sorry. Misophonia is a condition that has very, very intensive negative reactions to sounds. It can be, the smallest sound to the loudest sound possible. And I believe it starts in the amygdala, which is a part of the brain that controls the emotional aspects of, the human body and the responsive systems.
Wow. Right. You said it's not common out there. And
Yes, yes,
so I see how why you're trying to bridge the gap because people need to know if there's
yes,
anyone out there who is struggling with this. They need to know that first of all they're not alone, and second of all that there's such a thing as this, because sometimes ignorance will make you feel you're just different for no reason
right,
you know so thank you
right.
so much for all that you do. So are there triggers to these? Are there symptoms? Let me ask for the symptoms first. How do you know that you have it, or how do you know that somebody has got that?
Well, you know how body language is such a big thing in the world? When there is a sound and it triggers you, let's say it irritates you, or it disgusts you, or it evokes such emotions of sadness, of anger, of guilt, of shame, that is how you know it. Because a lot of the time people don't really notice certain sounds. Everybody is so oblivious to the fact of developing such kinds of awareness. And I personally have been researching about this ever since, I found out that I had this. And, it's all about how others are going to perceive you with it. So, if let's say somebody's chewing food and you can hear them, what is going to be your first emotional response to it? For me, my emotional response is absolute irritation and frustration because I don't know what to do when I'm sitting next to a person and I can hear them chewing, like, they're sitting right next to me and chewing right in my ear,
And I thought
you
that
know.
was a general thing, because I get irritated by that also. So I really want to know, where do we draw the line? Do you get, because I get irritated when people chew gum around me, or, they eat and they eat so loudly. But how do I know the difference? Because I want to believe that that's just disgusting anyway. How does it make you feel that
Okay,
I can say,
first,
okay, this is why yours is different from mine? How
yes.
do you get what I'm trying to say? Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, I cannot sit at the same table as somebody who chews, and it's that bad. Because like you're saying, there is a certain limit to which everybody can reach, right?
Yeah.
And let's say we have something that is very, 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 very tasty. You're gonna want to lick those fingers. You know how when you eat KFC, finger licking good.
Especially when you're eating fufu.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm,
You get it. And there's a fine line between being able to control your emotions when you're around a specific person who is eating like, it's their father's house. And there's also a specific, avenue through which you're like, okay, you know what? I cannot control this. Because when you respond to something emotionally negatively, you're giving out a negative response of irritation, of anger,
mm,
of just sheer frustration. That's how you know that, okay, you know what, this is going beyond control. You
mm,
just up and leave. There's no even, okay, you know what, guys, I just need to use the restroom. You just up
okay,
and
okay. I
leave.
get I get the boundaries now. Yeah, yeah. So
Yes,
good. Okay.
yes,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So I see what you're saying now. So can I ask you though, w- when and how did you, I mean, you said 2 years ago, but how did you figure this out?
All right.
Was it on
So,
your own, or, were you diagnosed or
yeah.
something?
So, 2 years ago, COVID just hit, right? So I live in Kenya currently, and 2 years ago, COVID hit around March 2020, and it was already out in the world in 2019, November, I believe. And so, what happened with us was it hit in March, and everything, everything, schools, the workforce, supermarkets, everything, the whole country was put into lockdown, because we didn't want anybody else getting infected by the virus. And for me, I'm somebody who needs to do work, needs to do something, because my mind is always moving, and I basically have a very hyperactive mind, and that means that I need to be doing something that's going to make me think, something that's going to stimulate my brain. So anyway, let's fast forward. It's March, okay? I was sitting for my mocks because at the time I was in grade 10, and this whole thing has just come, and I am studying for an exam that's the next day, and the government of Kenya has said, okay, you know what, schools closed, exams cancelled, done, no doing anything for a week. So we literally had a week off, okay? And then after that, schools were back in force, but virtually. We couldn't go back to school.
Mm,
And I remember it being around May. I had absolutely nothing to do. I finished all the books on my bookshelf. I was not allowed to go out. I was not allowed to go out
oh
to take a
wow.
walk. You know,
Mm,
I was not allowed to do anything. And one day I just woke up and I heard some of the members in my family chewing food. And the first day I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe, it's maybe that just time of the month, and the hormones are getting a bit, very, very edgy. And I waited it out for like, I think maybe a couple of weeks. And when I saw that this was something consistent, is when I actually went into the internet and I searched, and I'm like, what on earth is happening to me?
Wow.
Because you've gone from being able to sit at a dinner table with your family, sharing multiple meals a day, to not being able
It's
to
that hard.
control that sound.
Mm.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And it comes out of nowhere, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That answers my next questions because I was going to ask, are there some people born with it, or does it just come out of nowhere? Wow.
That is actually a very, very good question. So I have a friend who's been in the neuroscience industry for more than 20 years, and I spoke to him about this particular thing. I think it was last year, about a year ago. I spoke to him and I told him that, look, this is my condition. What can I do? Because I'm not finding any sort of avenue through which I can get my required therapy, or I can get a treatment for it. And there was a process where he had to ask me multiple questions, and he actually told me that this is a result of you having post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Wow.
And basically what happens is, when you are children, up until the age of 7, your subconscious mind is empty.
Mm.
Through your five senses, you start to absorb everything. And once you start to absorb everything, values, this isn't going to be like, just how people eat, or the what people say. It's also
Mm.
about, how people use their minds, how people perceive other people,
Mm.
and then that becomes the foundation with which you live the rest of your life.
Wow.
And to be very honest with you, I've actually been remembering a lot of these sounds in my younger days. Like, I
Wow.
remember my great grandmother would chew very loudly. And, it's like, it's just hitting me at the back of my mind that, hold on, maybe this didn't actually start 2 years ago. Maybe it actually
Mm.
started when I was younger. And because I've always been go, 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 I've never actually stopped
Mm.
to sit with my mind, is when this
Wow.
actually had time to occur. So, to me personally, I believe that the root stems from when we are very young.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the inability to comprehend it at that time complicates the matter.
Yes.
So the quick question would be, I mean, you've explained it, but do you feel like there are actually people? Is it the way you perceive it, or actually there are people who eat that loudly? I Do you hear what I'm trying to ask you now?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
it, is it when they eat loudly, or just when people chew around you? What's the sensitivity like on a range of, 1 to 10?
All right. Okay. My sensitivity, if there was an 11, I would have given you an 11. But,
Oh
you
wow.
know, yes, it's
Okay.
that bad. It's that bad.
Wow.
But you see also, so for me, um, if we were on a call right now and you're eating something, I could hear it. But that is just me and my being very, very highly sensitive. But
Mm.
there are also some other people who just don't know how to chew with their mouths closed. They like to like, especially when
Yeah.
they're
There are
chewing
people
gum, and
like
they're just exactly,
Mhm.
so I would say that if somebody is chewing like an average human being, decently with a lot of etiquette, that would probably be like maybe around a 9 to a 10. And
Mm.
if somebody is, openly just chewing like, they don't have any manners, it would be through the roof above a 10.
Wow. Wow. So let me ask you this question, okay? Because from what you're saying, I'm thinking, how did your family members, how did they take it? Did they think that you're just overreacting, or did they actually come to terms with it? If they did, how long did it take them?
Okay, so I actually didn't tell anyone until it was about 6 months in.
Wow.
And,
You
because
tolerated everyone
I,
for 6 more months. Wow. You're such a
yeah,
wow. You're such a great human being.
Thank you. Well, it wasn't very easy, but at the
I
time,
can't
I
even imagine it.
oh my
Whoa,
God. Yeah, actually right now I'm actually even wondering how did I manage to cope, for 6 months.
6 more months. Whoa.
I know. When I finally told my mom, I
Mm,
remember that, she was very supportive of it, because my mom has been, she's very, very supportive of who I am and what I do, because so we're a very small family, okay? I have a younger sister who's 16 and I have my mom. And then, we have the external family who
mm.
always comes to your house because your house is a hotel, right? So there's always
Yeah.
people in your house. Like currently my aunt and uncle are sitting for dinner with my mom and my sister, but you know how
Oh,
it
so
is. I
it's a
eat dinner
close
quickly.
knit family.
Yes, exactly. Yes. You know,
Mm,
and when I first told my mom, I remember her being very, very supportive of it. And, she said, "What can we do to help you?"
mm,
And that's when they kind of started changing their eating habits. And for me personally, I don't like it when people have to change around their own
mm,
routines for me.
mm.
So whenever my mom wanted to like eat like a packet of crisps, whenever my sister wanted to have gum or something, I would just simply excuse myself, go and
Eating
study or
crisp
go and read a book.
can be totally annoying though, for anyone.
Honestly, exactly.
For
Honestly,
anyone.
because there's no way you can just
Oh my
eat it without
God.
making noise.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And then
This is
the rest of the family came to terms with it. Like even today they were very, very comfortable with me eating before
oh,
them.
God.
And then them eating, like right now they're actually eating. And they're very, very supportive of it. Because my family are people who they don't let you go through things alone. It's
Mm.
a kind of I get you and I got you situation. So
Wow.
what can we do exactly? I know, and it's like what can we do to
Wow.
make your life better? You know.
This is so good because I was a bit worried as to how your family took it because I'm from Nigeria, by the way, yeah. And I
Yeah.
know that in a typical Nigerian home, you walk in on your parents and you're trying to explain to them how the way they do something affects you. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get spanked. That doesn't
Yes.
happen, you know. So I can kind of like I'm because I'm from that side of the world, I love what you're doing. Honestly, it's a big deal. There are so many things that people, because people are ignorant about it, they're not sense, they're not considerate. So you can think they're not considerate, but ignorance is there, so they don't even know what to do or how
Right.
to act around you. So my next question would be, if I knew someone, who has this, how should I react around them? What can I do to help them feel better about this?
Mm-hmm. That's actually a very, very good question. As a mindfulness coach to kids and teenagers and sometimes adults, it's very, very important that we learn to be responsive and not reactive. It's very, very important to allow people to be who they are without judgment. Now, the first thing I would do is to, tell them, okay, you know what, this is what you're struggling with. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. It's that simple gesture that you do
Mm,
that it can reach somebody's heart like this. And another thing is that you ask them to list down what exactly triggers them. For me it can be chewing, for somebody else it can be the dragging of furniture, for another
wow.
person it can be the tapping of nails on a surface. Now for me it's all of those things, but for somebody else it might just be one thing. But
Mm,
understanding the situation, understanding the dynamic between, okay, what exactly is misophonia? Where does it start? Basically just providing yourself with that little bit of
get
information so that
informed. Mm,
Exactly. It's so that you yourself are aware and you are able to better help this person. Because, like you're saying, a lot of people are very ignorant. Why? Because they don't want to go that extra mile into saying, what can I do for you? It's always, what can you do for me?
mm.
You know?
That's deep,
Yeah.
Amira. That's very deep. Wow. Ooh. So maybe you stated, you, I I don't know which one is hitting me the most. The fact that this exists, or the fact that you're too brilliant for your age. So I'm here thinking, oh wow, there's too many things coming at me at the same time. At the same time, I'm thinking, oh, how is life for people who suffer from this condition? And so I'm also thinking, okay, Amira is way ahead of this, and she's doing the right thing, stepping out and just putting the awareness out there. At the same time, I'm not recovering from the fact that you're just 17. Like when I was 17, don't let us even talk about it. It's like, really? So that's just too many things coming at me at the same time. Like I want to ask, Amira, what's your real age? Like you're 17, but you're sounding like you're 37. You're so smart. You're so brilliant. Like, oh wow. Whoa, whoa. Thank you so much. Because some people will be saying she's a coach at 17. Like how does she know this? But I don't think that it would be anyone should even be asking these questions because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You've done your research and this is what you do. I want us to talk a bit about mindfulness. What you
Mm-hmm.
do. Let's talk a bit about what you do. Mindfulness coaching. What's that about? And
All
how
right.
does it relate
So,
to this also? And how did you
okay.
get there? You see, there's so many questions I'm asking you at the same time because I just don't get it. How can you be this smart at 17? Okay, well, let's go ahead. So, what is it about, and how does it relate to, this campaign that you're doing?
All right. Thank you for your question. Very, very, very powerful question indeed. So, mindfulness in itself is being aware of where you are in the present moment. It's about, okay, this is the situation, this is what I'm dealing with. How can I better cope with it?
Mm,
And so there are a myriad of mindfulness practices. There is meditation, there's prayer, there's journaling, there is talk therapy. There's so many of them. But
mm,
for me, what I focus on is finding the key element that will help you. Because you see, for me, I might like to write, I might like to meditate, and I might like to pray. But for you, for example, you might not be into all of those avenues. You have your own strong point. Now, to be able to identify that strong point, there has to be a series of practice. You know that saying that goes, practice makes progress, not perfection.
yeah.
That's exactly, yes, that is exactly
Wow.
where we're getting at. And for what I do is, a lot of these kids, a lot of these teenagers have a lot of unnecessary stress, a lot of unnecessary pressure, a lot of unnecessary expectations that have been put on themselves, either by themselves or from external forces. Now, what I do is, I believe, because I'm a very religious and I'm a very spiritual person, I believe that everyone who comes into this world has a specific purpose, and it is their mandate to find out what that purpose is so that they can set their soul free.
Mm,
And within this mindfulness aspect, once you tap into that limitless potential that you have, nothing can stop you. And the reason I'm saying this is that I'm still alive, I'm still breathing, I'm still talking to you,
mm,
but I still have a condition called misophonia.
mm.
But in spite of that condition, I don't look at it as a disability. I
You're
look at
living
it
your
as a
life just
way.
fine.
Exactly,
Mm,
exactly. I look at it as a way of empowerment. As a way, yes, it may be a challenge, but it's also a stepping stone to enable me enable me to live the best that I can live.
wow.
And so that is where the mindfulness aspect comes in.
mm,
Let's say, for example, okay, you have a trigger, and your trigger is somebody who is really, really chewing on a piece of chicken. Yeah. What do you do? You're at a
mm,
family dinner at a restaurant. Okay. What do you do?
mm,
Either you can say, okay, you know what, excuse me, I need to use the restroom. That is the best case scenario of getting out of that situation.
mm,
The worst case scenario is what? You come back to who you are. You come back to your breath. The thing that you've been born with is your breath. That is the only thing that you have that is constant with you, that is constant, ever present. And
mm,
so if you just take a minute, you breathe in, you hold, and you breathe out. And you continue that until your nervous system starts to calm down. You'll start to notice that trigger will reduce drastically and you'll be able to
mm.
focus on something else. And trust me, I've personally done this because 2 weeks ago we went out for a family dinner. It
Wow.
doesn't.
Wow. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you, I mean, are there other, you know, other therapies, other medicines or whatever? What are the things that are available to manage these conditions, other than the ones you've mentioned? Are there other ones that are available to anyone out
Yes.
there who may be suffering from this condition?
Yes. So there are noise cancelling headphones that anybody can buy, which
Mm.
really, really help. I personally have my noise cancelling headphones.
Wow.
And another thing is I think it's called cognitive behavioral therapy. Now,
To
when you're talking about,
have
yes, it's to do with the brain, right? And because misophonia is a brain based condition, what cognitive behavioral therapy does, it helps you to reprogram that brain. It helps you to kind of assess what are my triggers, what is it that I'm feeling in this present moment, and how can I change it? How can I find better ways to cope with it?
Mm,
And another thing that I recently found is, I think it's a channel on YouTube, and it has a particular video on YouTube which uses these alpha beats at 8 hertz, and it really, really helps to calm the mind. You know, the alpha, delta, beta, all these different
mm,
things. Now, when you're in an alpha state of mind, you are very peaceful. You are in that kind of, okay, you know what, I'm okay, I'm going with the flow, I'm in that flow state of mind. And what this sound on the YouTube channel does is that it helps you to bring back that focus. So for
mm.
me, for example, when I'm studying, because I'm a senior, I'm almost going to university, I start in August, there's a lot of workload.
You
And
sound
for
like
that work,
you have your doctoral degree already, girl. Girl is on fire. You're on fire. Like that's a period. You're on fire. Oh wow. Just go on, go on. I'm just so honored to know you, Amira.
thank
Wow.
you, thank you. Wow. Okay.
I'm thinking like, how old are you again? No, like, oh wow. This is so good. Well done. Amira, it's one thing to find out that you have a certain condition. It's another thing to look at it from a very positive perspective where you're saying, oh, okay, I'm ahead of this game. People need to know about this, that this is a thing. On the flip side of that is somebody else might think, oh, my life is ended. Like, how am I supposed to cope?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do that? Do you see my point? But
Yeah.
you're so positive about it. You're saying let people know that this is a thing and this is so good. But I want you to talk to somebody out there who probably have known about this, but they've been hiding, maybe because of stigmatization. You know the way our society is. How what would you say to these people, or to people who just think, I know this is a thing but I don't want people to know that I have it, or because then it will be very difficult for them to manage it if they don't
Right.
come out to say this is the kind of condition I have. So what do you say to people who, first of all, the know yet that it's a thing, and now they know because they're hearing from you. And second of all, those people who already know but they don't want to step out or just identify with this, what do you say to people like that?
Okay, thank you for your question. Before I answer that though, I'd like to just say that so I start university in August, and I personally want to help people who have special needs, who are diagnosed with special needs, because um, I have worked with people who have autism, who are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and I want to bring it out to the public. And exactly what you said about the stigmatization. For me, I don't want to only specialize in people diagnosed with misophonia. I want to do the entire special needs board, autism, misophonia, Asperger's, cerebral palsy, all these different types of things. And for me, I want to be that force of empowerment, not dehumanization, not destigmatization,
Mm,
because you may have a condition, but that just means that you just need a little guidance, you just need a little push to reach deep down into that inner spark and live the best to your ability. Now, getting onto your question,
yeah.
I feel like, the listeners and, whoever is going to watch this, I feel like they can reach out to me, because
Indeed.
having been going through this for 2 years now and having worked with people who are diagnosed with special needs means that I am capable of, just offering a listening ear. That's it. Sometimes people just need to vent it out. They don't need advice, they just need somebody to listen to them.
Mm,
And I feel that it's very, 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 very important to find those types of people who are not going to say that, okay, you know what, I listen to you, but I want something in return.
mm.
It's about giving that unconditional service to others,
Wow.
and yeah. So for me, what really helped me was finding somebody to talk to about it. Somebody who was not going to judge me, somebody who was just going to listen and say, okay, do you need some advice or did you just need to vent? You know? And if they just needed to vent, that's okay. But if they did need that advice, you would offer it. And you would probably offer it in a sense by asking, what can I do to make it easier for you? What can I do to help you better cope while you are finding who you
Mm.
truly are?
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're just a great person. That's all I can say. You're just a great person. Thank you so much for putting this information out there. And to all our viewers, I hope you've been able to learn one or two things, that this is a thing. And so, sometimes we see people reacting to stuffs and we're thinking,
Yeah,
why are they overreacting?
yeah,
Okay. But when you know that just maybe not, that's just maybe that's part of who they are. You tend to
mm-hmm.
accept them that way. So compassion at the end of the day, just know that, everyone has their own thing, everyone has whatever it is they're going through, and be compassionate like that. I like that you're ahead of this. I can't say this enough. I like the attitude you're bringing to this to say, you know what? I'm here to listen to you. So where can we find you, Amira? If there's someone out there saying, I've always wanted somebody to talk to about this thing, where can you be found?
I can be found on literally every social platform that's there. um, Facebook, my full name, Amirah Gilani, it's written. And for Instagram, just search up I am Amirah Gilani. I can provide my WhatsApp number, my LinkedIn profile. I can do everything so that you can put in a description. So yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody's gonna remember all the social platforms, but I would be more
Yes,
than
I
happy to
will be
provide
putting
my
it on
email
our
with it.
platforms, yes, indeed,
Yes,
how to contact
yes,
you. Wow.
yes.
Well, thank you, Amira. And of course, I really wish you a very, very bright future. You're a bright young lady and you're going places. And I just want to officially, on behalf of, everyone here, the team here at the Daring Do Show, thank you for stepping out to say, I'm going to make somebody else's journey even easier. And that's a huge deal. Thank you for the impacts that you're making out there. We love you. And thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for teaching me. So I have learned a lot. And this is the thing, like insights has nothing to do with age.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking, wow, for you to have gotten here, you must have really put yourself into, vigorous studying just to know what this is and be able to handle it. And I'm just so honored to have met you, and now you're my show. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. I will be sending some people your way by the grace of God. I will be sending. I apart from the show, I've also learned from you that just be positive about things, especially
Yeah.
things you can't change. Be positive about it. It's not the end of the world. Thank you so much. Such an honor to have you. Thank you, our viewers. Please put in the comment section the things that you have learned. And of course, check our social media platform: Facebook, The Daring Doors, um, Instagram, The Daring Doors. We will be putting out Amira's information there. If you need a coach, she is available for you. So please, please, please be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much, Coach Amira. God bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
All
God
right,
bless you
all
too.
right then. All right then. Until next week, Daring Does, I am saying bye bye.